Today we are just going to probably scratch the surface because there's a lot of detail, but we're going to be discussing the top 3 lawsuits involving Specialized bicycle components. As always, if you do enjoy this kind of content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and let me know what other cycling-related history we can tackle. But first, let's put a little bit of a backdrop on Specialized themselves before we get into the top 3 lawsuits they have been involved with. Specialized is actually called Specialized Bicycle Components, founded in 1974 by none other than Mike Signard, who simply started importing Italian bicycle components to the US before making his own components starting in '76. In 1981, Specialized made their first 2 bicycles, a touring bike called the Sequoia and the infamous Alley road bike. Now there's a phenomenal movie about the history of mountain biking called Clunkers, with a K. It's Joe Breeze, Gary Fisher, Tom Ritchie, Charlie Cunningham, all these guys that were the founders of mountain bicycles. Gary Fisher even started a company called Mountain Bike, with all the bikes being handmade produced by Tom Ritchie. In the late 70s, early 80s, Gary Fisher was buying parts from Specialized Bicycle Components, and Mike Signard kept asking, "Gary, come on, man. Can you get me a bike? I really like your bikes." Finally, Gary gave Mike a bike. Mike then proceeded to take said bike over to Asia, had them copy it, and in 1981, the first stump jumper was mass-produced.
Mike, senior, good friend, good guy. Really respect him. Mike, I used to buy parts from. Every now and again, Mike would say, "I want a bike. Can you get me a bike?" I said, "Sure. Sure, Mike. I can get you a bike." I'd bring him a bike. What's Mike gonna do with the bike? Mike's gonna ride the bike. Yeah, Mike's gonna ride the bike. Mike said, "I rode the bike. The bike's great. I love it. I love it." What's Mike gonna do? Mike's gonna make a bike himself one of these days. Yeah, he will.
And Specialized Bicycles, took one of Tom's bikes and took it overseas in Japan and basically had a copy of it made and then brought to the show as the stump jumper.
I had to say all of that just to say that Specialized was founded essentially on copying somebody else's product. Number 3. The first lawsuit we're going to discuss is actually a little bit of a cheat on my part. I do apologize, but I wanted to throw in a few of the times Specialized has just seemed to be throwing lawsuits at the wall and hoping something would stick. I could see some of these being warranted, but for the most part, there was a big time period where Specialized was just like, if it sounds anything like our product, anything like our name, even our color, red, if your bike is red, we're going to sue you. In 1990, Specialized tried to sue RockShox because their name was too close to Rock Hopper. That case was ultimately dismissed. In 2006, Specialized sent a letter to Mountain Cycles about their bike model, the Stumptown, which was the nickname for Portland, saying it was too close to the Stump Jumper. Mountain Cycles did close down after that. In 2010, Specialized sued Robbie Gordon over the logo for his Speed energy drink, which I will have to say does kind of look similar, but this is probably the closest one. A small Alaskan-based custom bag manufacturer named Epic had to change their name to Revelate because, of course, Specialized Epic. They didn't want people getting confused because, Specialized is so huge in the Alaskan bike packing industry. They sued WTB over a tire called the Epic Wolf. And the list goes on and on and on, and you get the picture. If your cycling brand had any variation of the word Stump, Special, Epic, or anything else that resembled a Specialized brand, you're probably going to court. Number 2. Voli Cycles. I hope I'm saying that right, so please feel free to correct me if I'm not. Voli Bicycles were founded in 2010 by former Specialized and Camelback employees Robert Choi and Barley Forsman. Specialized sued Voli with 9 claims, and in the end, 8 were thrown out of court, while the single remaining claim, a breach of contract claim, made Voli pay Specialized a single dollar in damages. This is one of my favorite Specialized stories because Specialized ended up spending bukus of money only to receive $1. How did the second biggest bike company in the world manage to rack up $2 million in legal fees only to be awarded $1, you might ask? I would say karma on one hand and justice on the other. I'd love to do a full video on this incident because there is a lot to unpack, but for time's sake, let's just keep it short. Barley and Robert both worked at Specialized when they decided to leave the company and start their own bicycle brand. Barley had already quit, while Specialized asked Robert to stay on a little longer to help finish a project he was working on, which later became the Purist water bottle. It is a good point to note that both Barley and Robert they were designers for Specialized, but neither one of them designed anything to do with the actual bicycle. It was stuff like water bottles. Specialized then claimed that Robert was actually staying on longer and not working. He was simply there to try to steal secrets from the company. Perfect quote from this article. Choi had said that Barley had already quit to work full-time on Veloci and I stayed on to help them. Then they turned that against me. He also claimed that he has been completely transparent throughout, and other efforts he made to resolve this peacefully were turned against him. For instance, in response to Specialized claiming that he had stolen trade secrets, he and Forsman both worked in accessory design, not bicycle design. He gave them a complete backup of his laptop that he kept at home to show that there was nothing in it that belonged to Specialized. I didn't have to tell them I had a backup or give it to them, he says. They spent $2 million just to stifle us. Specialized, of course, tried saying that Veloci bike designs were stolen directly from Specialized, and the best part of this case was when the defense called Sean Sullivan to the stand. He is a former executive vice president of Specialized and second in command of Mike Signard. Sullivan testified that the Specialized Roubaix bicycle design came from a 7 Cycles custom bike that a Specialized employee had brought because the company's product line did not include a relaxed geometry comfort bike with a tall head tube. So the ultimate claim from Specialized that they stole their bike, that Veloci stole their bike design from Specialized, the design that they were claiming, the VP said Specialized stole from 7 Cycles. There you have it. If you want to know more about this case, let me know, and I'd love to have a reason to dive even deeper into this, but I love the fact that Specialized spent $2 million and was only awarded a single dollar. A tragic end to the story though, as Veloci shut its doors in 2016 after one of the founders was in an accident involving a car. Number 1. Café Roubaix. Café Roubaix is a small bicycle shop in Calgary, Canada, and of course, that caught the eye of none other than Specialized legal team for the use of the name Roubaix, which I'm still a little bit confused because Roubaix is a famous cycling town in France, so how can you trademark the name of a place? But anyway, Specialized literally did their same old threat of legal action against this bike shop for the use of the name, and oh ho ho ho, it was a PR disaster. There were people all over the world that I think were finally fed up with Specialized legal tactics against the little guy. The icing on the cake, and why I had to put this story at the top spot, is the fact that Specialized never owned the rights to use the Roubaix name to begin with. The parent company of Fuji Bicycles, Advanced Sports International, owned the rights at the time and had been licensing it to Specialized since 2003. The CEO of ASI, Pat Cunane, actually reached out to the owner of Café Roubaix and informed him that he is more than welcome to use the name Roubaix. Now, at the end of the day, Mike Signard called the owner of Café Roubaix and apologized, which is a nice gesture, but I have to think that if ASI wouldn't have stepped in, that Mike probably wouldn't have apologized. I kind of feel like that portion of the story is literally Specialized trying to save face.
Well, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me up. And really, I just want to say a big apology for this whole thing that got out of line, and I completely take full responsibility for it.
And lastly, Specialized did end up purchasing the rights to the name Roubaix down the road, so this incident doesn't happen to them again. I just couldn't fathom trying to take legal action against something that I don't even own, and I'm a company as big as Specialized. That was a huge embarrassment for them, and that's why I think they ultimately went to him, apologized. And you can read the interviews with the owner of Café Roubaix. He says that Specialized was super nice about it in the end, kind of water under the bridge sort of situation with that. But what a mess up. So there you have it. This is the very reason that Specialized has always put a bad taste in my mouth, and if I end up getting sued or my video gets demonetized, I will surely let you all know. Please don't sue me, Specialized. They do make some great high-end bikes, but their trigger-happy lawsuit tactics along with a ton of other reasons have led me to just not care for their product. Let me know what you guys think, and please add in the comments your knowledge of these situations. I'm loving these more kind of entry-level list formats, but I would also love to do a deep dive on specific situations within the industry. So let me know what you want to see, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.